We're in movie mode. I'm stoked to be here. We had a lot of homework, put a lot of prep into this, so you better like it. Austin Burke, how you feeling about it?
I'm feeling good. I hope I know all the rules. I feel like I'm back in school again because I want to pass this test and I want to win the competition, but I want to make sure I do it right. They don't know what we're talking about yet, but man, I am so pumped for this episode. It's going to be fun, and hopefully this is the first of many.
You guys can see the title. We are doing a fall fantasy movie draft. Let's talk specifics. Let's talk what inspired us to do this in the first place. We've had a little bit of an inside joke here on the podcast. It's a long road to Gladiator 2. I am not particularly thrilled with the 2024 fall movie season. So I thought it would be a fun exercise for you and I to go back and forth and draft an ideal 2024 fall season in place of the new releases that are coming out this year. I also wanted to acknowledge, and I'm being a little bit of a narcissist, I wanted to acknowledge that I have been podcasting for 10 years this month.
Oh,
so
very nice.
A lot of the movies that currently have 10-year anniversaries. We just had Gone Girl's 10th anniversary. So a lot of these movies were movies that I talked about on my very first podcast, Film Beef. So I thought it would be fun to celebrate the last 10 years of film while doing, again, this fall fantasy exercise. So I texted you or called you, asked you if you wanted to do this. I said all that reasoning, all that vamping. It actually really just comes down to I didn't want to go to the theater. So anyway, what were you thinking when I proposed this idea?
I thought it was brilliant. Initially we were going to talk about a movie. I mean, there's Terrifier, there's Saturday Night this weekend, but some of those are limited, right? I don't even know if you've seen the other two Terrifier movies, and so we were kind of just grasping for straws here. This is brilliant. Being a fantasy football connoisseur, I say that I'm 1-3 in a league this year, so I'm not that good at it apparently. But I'm a big fantasy sports guy. I love the idea of making lists, picking and choosing favorites, and then kind of laying it all out there for you all and allowing you to see what we came up with and getting a chance to vote. Man, I think that's a fun way to interact. So this entire thing, while you were talking, was brilliant. And the rules that we came up with, I think, will make this even more of an interesting discussion, and hopefully not too many people will get too mad at the at all of the things going on with this list.
We'll go over the rules and how things are going to work, the details here in just a minute. But let's talk about brilliance for a minute, because any listener of the Big Picture podcast might already be familiar with movie drafts, but I just want to say something real quick. What we're about to do here right now for this fall movie season, I sat down and did this with 3 other people during COVID when there weren't any summer movies in 2020, I guess. So me and 3 other people that I'll be honest, I'm not friends with anymore, but 3 other people nonetheless sat down with me, and we just made up an ideal summer movie season. What if theaters just put in old releases because studios aren't making money during lockdowns? So we had fun. I didn't release that podcast. It never saw the light of day. It was probably because corgis were barking in the background or something. But regardless, as far as I know, I did the movie draft podcast first, and then it just so happened that one of the most popular movie podcasts, The Big Picture, started doing it afterwards. So, chicken or the egg, I don't know. Regardless, you can only talk about movies so many ways. So it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're here to make it the Ryan and Austin version of what we're about to do. So we'll go over the details and the rules in just a moment. And yes, there is some fan interaction. You guys will get to pick who the winner is. How's your week, man? You been doing all right?
Good. I just kind of going through the motions of having 3 different jobs and doing 3 drastically different things for different people and editing wedding videos, sitting in on meetings, doing YouTube, man. It's just, I feel like my brain's been all over the place this week, but it's nice to sit down and relax. We're getting close to football Sunday, but I'm actually going to be out of town the day before that, man. I am going to Mr. John Flickinger's wedding in Indiana this weekend. Very excited. I'm curious to see who all's there. I'm also curious to see if he goes through with it. You know, we John's, I don't know about his decision making here. If he's going to make the right decision, it is to get married to his amazing fiance. She is awesome. I'm so happy for him. It's really cool to see, and I'm pumped to see him this weekend, man. It's been a while since I've seen him. We haven't been to a premiere in a little bit, so it'll be fun.
So that's why he couldn't do the podcast tonight?
That's it. Listen, you know, we're gonna get him on here one of these days. He's a little busy this weekend, but I'm still going to give him flack for not showing up ever.
Are you in the wedding party?
I'm not.
Okay.
From what I know, it's a smaller wedding, so I'm pretty happy he invited him. I didn't know if he would or not. You know, we've met a couple times. We've been with each other a couple times outside of going to a movie premiere, and you know, we got to hang out a lot when we were in Orlando, and we roomed together and all that stuff. But I consider John a really good friend, man. I'm happy he invited me. I'm glad it's mutual. I didn't know if he was just putting on a facade or not. But it's nice that I'm there, you know, and it's funny too, because last time we were with him at a premiere, my brother was like, "Hey, John, why didn't I get an invite?" And John was like, "Because you're not invited, man." So it was like, he could be your +1, but I'm going to take my wife. My wife is my +1. So yeah, he's a funny guy. Again, we'll see if he goes through with it. We'll see if somebody screams, "I object" in the back. It could be me.
It'd be really funny if he asked you to make his wedding video. Because you'd be in charge of John Flickinger's wedding. Like that'd be hilarious. You could call
it. He initially reached out about that, and then he decided we're not going to do videography. It's just too expensive, because it is expensive, man. And we're expensive. And so he said, we're just going to have a photographer, but he did reach out. And the second he reached out, I'm like, oh boy, that's a big ask. Because not only is he my friend, he's also the flick pick. And so I got nervous, but thankfully he didn't ask me. Thankfully.
Yeah. If you had titled his video, it should have had the subtitle, "The Final Move." So good. That would have been fun. I got asked to do a wedding video for a friend, and it's one of the most regrettable things of my entire life. I hated it. I hate the idea of it. Always did. Always will. It was miserable. Yeah. I hope to never do that again. I also hope to just never be invited to a wedding again. I hope I'm done forever. Until, you know, my friends find their second wives eventually. So,
well, I was going to say, Ryan, if I ever get a divorce, which, I mean, 50-50, if I ever get a divorce, I will definitely invite you to my next wedding. Yeah. So I just want you to know that.
My only thing, I'm cool with being invited if you let me give a speech.
Okay.
I want to do the speech. Let me do a speech. I'll show up for sure. Anyway, let's chat DC a bit, shall we? Before we get into this fantasy draft, two big stories. Let's start with Joker first, because we talked about it last week, and the sooner we talk about it, the sooner we can never talk about it again. So
exactly, yes.
There have been a lot of news tidbits about Todd Phillips and Joker Folie since it crashed and burned at the box office. I've got a few thoughts, a few things. I know this is something that you've been thinking about as well. And I don't really feel like we have to go through every single little thing that's said or happened, but I am just kind of curious what your takeaways are from the Joker box office, the Todd Phillips quotes and tidbits. Where are you at with this movie now?
It sounds like they got what they wanted. They wanted to make a movie that is the exact opposite of the first movie that fans loved. They did that. I don't know if they wanted it to be a box office failure, but what did you expect, man? What did you expect? Not only that, but to market it. And people were telling me, they're like, listen, Austin, studios just don't market movies as musicals anymore. That's just not what they do. And then I sit back and I say, well, then why do they make it? Why do they make the musical? Why do they try to hide the fact that it is a musical? And if you're going to, and I think it's a different case, though, with the Joker, right? If you're going to take a very popular billion-dollar movie that fans love, that got nominated for an Oscar, and if you're just going to go in a complete opposite direction and turn it into a musical, I think fans have the right to know that before they walk into that theater. And I think the big part, this why I predicted it to have the worst cinema score in comic book history. And guess what? It did. The worst cinema score in comic book history. I knew from just hearing close friends and family and people that I had talked to in my personal life that really don't live in the movie world, just hearing that it's a musical and knowing what this movie was about to do, completely check out before even walking into the theater. And so I could only imagine people with that mindset, which was most people, by the way, walking into the theater and getting the movie that they got, which is just a pointless film in its entirety. Now, again, it looks great. It's beautifully acted. It's beautifully shot. All of those things are there so that the consistency carries over from the first Joker. But the story, the way they went about it, it's all just the exact opposite of what fans wanted. And so, yeah, I expected it to do bad. I expected it to bomb at the box office. And looks to me like the second weekend drop-off is going to be huge. And so it is a true bomb. Yeah. And it is not great for Warner Brothers right now. It's not great.
Isn't it funny how it's only a bomb because the budget was 4 times that of Joker?
Insane.
Think about it. Even if we could still sit here on the podcast, complain, and just be bewildered if Joker Folie had double the budget. Because we talked about it during our review. Where did this money go? Like, why?
Makes no sense.
So the fact that we'd still say that if the budget was doubled, the fact that it's double the double is it's insane. For those of you who don't know, Joker had a reported $55 million budget, and this was 200. The worldwide gross, if I remember off the top of my head, was 150 worldwide. So if they had even doubled, which would have been absurd, if they doubled it, it probably would have been okay. Like, fine.
Yep.
It wouldn't have been a hit the way that the first one was. We'd still be bewildered by the type of movie that it was, and then we'd kind of just be like, I can't believe it made that much money. And, you know, isn't it funny how it works out like that? Ben Brasso, loyal listener, asked me if I thought Todd Phillips was a hack, and I totally forgot to answer that question on last week's episode. It's my favorite thing to do, guys. If you don't know, I love calling people hacks. I've thought a lot about this. Thankfully, these tidbits came out and informed my decision on this topic. So, guys, here we go. Is Todd Phillips a hack?
Oh, boy.
Absolutely he is. He's a hack.
Boy.
He's a hack.
Boy.
He's a hack. I'm done with him. Colin Trevorrow, get the hell out. Who else? I have a long list. Todd Phillips, we're good. We're done.
Oh.
An absolute disconnect from the fandom. And I get it. You did it with the first movie. You set out to do something different. It was sort of a response to everything else going on in the DC universe, DCEU. This movie just tells the world and solidifies we are ready for James Gunn's DCU.
Yeah.
We are done with Warner Brothers bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was just Snyder. It's not. This was, and I asked you when we sat down, did it say DC Studios at the opening credits or end credits? You told me no. It's James Gunn's just not saying anything about this film's existence.
No.
Pretty interesting.
No, he shouldn't.
So,
I thought it was funny because he was trying his best to promote The Flash, which, it didn't work for a lot of people, but you saw that there was nothing. There was a lot for The Flash. There's nothing for this. And that caused me a lot of hesitation because I'm like, okay, James Gunn was going to bat. Because James Gunn's all about the Elseworld stuff because he's loving on Matt Reeves right now. And so you would think that he would have said something about the Joker and nothing. And that, to me, was a huge red flag, regardless of what you think about James Gunn.
and what a joke that Joker Folie Deux came from like a dream Joaquin Phoenix had. I'm not saying that
Nightmare.
That's funny. Look, a lot of filmmakers, I'm sure, have come up with their films because they've had dreams. But it's the idea that Joaquin Phoenix has never done a sequel to one of his own movies. No. And for him to have such a lackluster dream about a sequel to Joker, like, it's not worthy of that. So we talked about that last week. Joaquin Phoenix has never done a sequel, and like, it probably meant something. That's what we said going into this film. It probably meant something that this was going to be the first time, the first reason why he lost all the weight again, got back into character. We talk about what it is to get into these dark characters with these actors. And that was it. And not only that, it actually came from you. It could have just been a damn good script that inspired Joaquin. But the fact that, God, he's one of these actors. He's a great actor. I do not like hearing from him, hearing about him. He's insufferable to me. Like, he's one of those actors and celebrities I don't need to know anything about their celebrity. He's in good movies. He's good in movies. Anything else, I just roll my eyes and then I have to go get them from down the stairs. So anyway, I'm salty about the whole thing and ready to move on.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think he's definitely a different specimen when it comes to how he handles things. But even then, I don't know if you saw some of the videos of him at the premiere and his facial reaction when he watched the movie for the first time. It didn't, which granted, he's a weird dude, okay? Didn't look like he liked it.
Yeah.
Did not look like he liked it. And so whatever that dream was, it did not come to fruition. And maybe that's how he responds to all of his movies, because he may not like seeing himself on screen. I don't know. Did not look like he liked the movie, and he seemed pissed off. So maybe he's in the same boat as us.
Who knows? Hard to tell. But anyway, this movie's going to be lost to time, as weird as it sounds. I mean, Joker was a massive movie, and it's just the most who gives a shit sequel ever.
God, sucks, man.
Speaking of James Gunn's DCU, we've pretty much rounded out the Lanterns casting news. Yeah. So we had Nathan Fillion. We got Kyle Chandler.
Yeah.
And then now officially Aaron Pierre from Rebel Ridge is playing John Stewart. And I think you tweeted that this is maybe the most excited you've been for comic book casting in a while. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been years since I've been this. I was pretty excited about Pattinson. I won't lie to you. That was pretty big in my book. This is great, man. I mean, I think we even talked about it on the pod. I thought John Stewart when I watched just his presence, and you think of, especially going back to Justice League Unlimited, those animated series, just the way that he imposes his nature on the villains and then the rest of the team dynamic. And I watched Aaron Pierre and I'm just like, this guy's got it, man. Even if it's not John Stewart, give him a powerful, badass role in one of these universes. But he got John Stewart. And so this is huge, man. John Stewart is he's always been my personal favorite Green Lantern, like even over Hal Jordan. I've liked him more than Hal Jordan for years. And so to finally see him come to screen by someone who I think is absolutely perfect for him, pretty much based on one movie, but who cares at this point, is great, man. I'm so pumped for this. Apparently he's signing a TV and movie deal. And
Awesome.
to think about him in the Justice League with the rest of our crew, dude, it's going to be freaking great.
I couldn't agree more. I'm just tremendously happy after how much we loved Rebel Ridge and how much he stood out. He's got that presence. He's got that look. He just is a cool dude.
Yeah,
and I don't know the other gentleman, the other actor that it came down to. Was he in? Sorry, I'm not looking it up because my internet's being wonky. But is it Bill Street Could Talk? Is that what that actor's from?
I believe that was a guy who is also a very good actor. And so I think both of these choices would have been great.
I'm not familiar with him, so when I just looked at their side-by-side pictures and like Twitter posts and stuff, I'm like, how is that guy going to beat Aaron Pierre? There's no way.
I agree.
There's
Presence.
no way.
Yeah,
So
he has the presence, man.
So, but we get again, we get a glimpse into what James Gunn and company are looking for with these actors. So to see that other guy, as you mentioned, even though I'm less familiar, but the fact that you were like, yeah, this is still also a great idea.
Yeah, he's good.
The casting's just been fun. It's just cool. Man. Kyle Chandler, only James Gunn or somebody in James Gunn's camp, whoever James Gunn hires to do these castings, could come up with something like that. So anyway, I didn't quite see it when they were throwing Brolin's name around, but seeing Kyle Chandler in a Green Lantern show, that's going to be so cool. So cool.
Kyle Chandler's he's just a hell of an actor, man. Like, some people were freaking out because he's an older Hal Jordan, but I'm like, if you look at what the dynamic is supposed to be of Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, and maybe Nathan Fillion's a little old, but I still think the dynamic's going to be great because he's a really good actor. But that Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart relationship, this is like spot on, dude. And it said they tested together, which I could only imagine how good he was if he secured it in that screen test. I can't wait for this movie or this TV show, man. It's going to be awesome. And it's HBO. It's HBO. Like, how crazy is that?
I would kill to see that test screening. I really would. So cool. I think the DCU is going to be sick. I think it's going to be the healthiest, the best competition between them and Marvel Studios. And what are we? 9 months away from seeing them go head to head for the very first time with Superman Legacy and Fantastic Four subtitle, whatever the hell it is. So finals or the first steps. So it's cool, man. I mean, look, we kind of started off this episode like, oh, the fall movie season, or maybe I was doing that, but the fall movie season's kind of lame. But there's a lot to look forward to. So I think, we're just exiting, I think, whatever we were left with because of all the strikes. Is that what we're doing? We're kind of moving on from all the time that was affected by that, and now we can get right back to business. Is that how it feels to you?
I think so. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting.
Yeah. Cool, man. Do you have anything else on any of that or any other news bits before we do the fantasy draft? No,
DC is doom and gloom until it isn't. DC is comic book movies are dead until next year. You know what I mean? It's like that next year could really turn us around, especially if we hit hard with Captain America and then we go right into Superman, Fantastic Four back to back, which are the two movies that I'm looking forward to. If they all at least hit, like kind of hit, we're in good shape, man. And then we're right back to, 2012 again. Super excited for this new universe. Super excited to see where Marvel goes. The return of Robert Downey. Like, we're right back into it. So I think we're in good shape, dude. And then 2 years from now, we got the Batman Part 2, which is something I am dying dying to get back to, man. I want to get back to that world. It's so sweet. And I know we got the Penguin right now.
Yeah.
But I've already finished that, and so I'm like, I want Batman 2 now. Give it to me.
Yeah. I get it. I watched episode 2, by the way, of the Penguin. It's
nice.
It's still really good. I have not watched
Yes,
the latest episode, and I guess depending on when you're listening to this, episode 4 is out, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So anyway, I'm not entirely caught up, but I enjoyed the second episode for sure. Oh, real quick, we found out, we found out who what's his face is playing in Agatha All Along.
Yeah, and I'm not even watching, and Twitter's just like, here it is, and I'm like, I didn't need to know that. I'm not shocked. I knew who it was, but I didn't need to know that on Twitter. Like, what are we doing?
Let's not say what it is, but let's just say it's the most like predictable thing of all time. And it's also, I said this when we talked about it when it premiered. It's not a character that anybody has a relationship with in the MCU. So the fact that it did turn out to be this character means nothing. Comic book readers who already like the character, I'm sure they're excited. Did it need to be a twist to
no.
to bring that character in? No. Do I know how it happened in the show? No. I don't care. Doesn't matter.
No.
It's stupid.
It's not surprising in the least bit. That's something I think everyone who tuned into that show said, oh, yeah, that's who that is. You know, it's just like,
Yeah.
we all knew.
Yeah. Anyway, enough of that. Guys, let's talk about the rules for this fall 2024 fantasy draft. Again, the premise. Austin and I are going to program what we think the fall 2024 lineup should have been by using movies from 2014 to 2023. I will have my own lineup. Austin will have his own lineup. We will go back and forth drafting from a list of movies that we have comprised. We have criteria that we have to adhere to. We will break all that down. But I do want to clarify. You and I are going head to head here. And it is up to us whether we approach this like, are we going to cater to the fans, the viewers, the listeners, or are we going to be super Ryan Snelling about it, super Austin Burke? It is up to us. It's up to how we interpret what we want our program list to be like. And then you will get to vote on the winner. I don't even think we talked about what the winner gets. Probably nothing because we're lazy.
Yeah, that's all right.
But bragging rights leading into the next draft that we do. So, do you have anything before I go one by one with these bullet points, these rules that we're going to adhere to?
No, I think the concept is great. It's also going to be interesting to see how we draft. If we have a strategy at hand, if we have a way to appeal to you all or to crush the other person, I think that's going to be fun. Now, again, there are a lot of rules, so we may be kind of thinking on the fly with some of these and making sure we've got it down pat, but hopefully by the end we've checked every box.
Yeah, forgive us, but this is the first episode we've done like this, so we're going to do a lot of vamping, by the way, because we're each going to need time to think about our picks. So hopefully the other person kind of picks up the slack and is podcasting while the other person is pontificating. But talking through the rules, talking out loud about our process will definitely be a part of this, similarly to how we did like the MCU ranking show. We want the listeners to be as involved as possible in how we make our selections, things like that. Excuse me. So, it's, again, really up to us what we're going to do. So, right now, we're recording this October 10th. When this is released, it's like, October 12th? You might be listening to this on the 14th. We are including the first week of October. So, we're going to do every week in October, every week in November, every week in December. We have 10 years to cover. Sometimes those months have 5 weeks. So we just went ahead and decided that we're doing 5 theatrical releases per month. So we'll have a week 1 in October all the way down to a week 5 in October. Same for the other 2 months. We've also decided to include streaming movies, but as kickers. So they will be coupled with a theatrical release for whatever week we choose. And part of the strategy is maybe we wait until our last pick in the month when we're not really thrilled about it. Let's say one of us is stuck getting Frozen 2 and we want to couple it with a banger streaming movie. Or we can just hit even harder and couple a banger of a theatrical release with a banger streaming movie. We'll figure that out as we go. But it is primarily, again, programming theatrical releases. Imagine that we're rival theater owners. It's like Lucky Number 11 when Morgan Freeman and Ben Kingsley are like across the street from each other and they're at war with each other. I have my own movie theater. Austin has his own, and I want people to come to my movie theater. I'm going to program the best movies for my movie theater, and you're going to do it for yours.
That's right.
Does the streaming concept hold up when I do it like that? Absolutely not, but it's okay. So, during this game, during this podcast, Austin and I can draft for any week at any given time. So, my first pick could be week 3 in November or whatever. So we're not going in chronological order when it comes to the picks. We're trying to get to the best movies before the other person does. Again, 5 theatrical releases in a month, 1 per qualifying week, 1 streaming release per month as a kicker. So at the end of this, Austin and I have to have included an animated film somewhere on this list. It's mandatory. We also have to include a Best Picture nominee somewhere in our list. All right? Any sequel that has come out is fair game. So if Austin wants to pick Mockingjay Part 1 over Catching Fire, that's fine. He can. It doesn't matter. We're just trying to have the best movies, and all of these movies have come out anyway. But we can only pick 1 movie per franchise. So that includes the MCU. We can only pick 1 MCU movie. It's not like we're talking about... I don't think it actually works out with MCU releases, but it's not like you can pick Doctor Strange and Captain Marvel. No, even though they are different characters and I guess their own franchises within a franchises, we're talking about the MCU as a whole. Same for, I guess it doesn't really matter in any other. But anyway, so you get the idea. October, for both of us, must include a horror film. November must have a family film. The idea being like Thanksgiving. And December must have a tentpole blockbuster. So we cannot finish those months until we have one of those for each. You guys will vote. So once Austin and I have solidified our lists, I'll make a graphic. We'll post it somewhere, probably on YouTube. And you guys will vote month to month. And the winner is the winner 2 out of 3. So we'll... Who won October, who won November, who won December. Whoever wins 2 of the 3 is the overall winner. Do you have any questions or things that you want to say to clarify what we're doing?
Not at the moment. Did you mention that the streaming choices will be separate from the other categories? Meaning if we choose a streaming movie, it will not count as a family movie, or it will not count as an October horror movie. It will be its own movie, and we still have to fill those categories with a theatrical release.
Yeah. Streaming, thank you for clarifying that. The overall assignment is, again, programming theatrical releases. So these streamers are just like little add-ons. So we're still responsible, as Austin mentioned, we're still responsible for finding the theatrical animated movies, the theatrical Oscar nominees. So All Quiet on the Western Front, that was a streamer, but it was nominated for Best Picture. That does not count as the Best Picture nominee. It only counts as the streamer for that respective month. Thank you for clarifying. All right. Are we done? Are we ready to get started?
I'm nervous. Yeah, I'm ready.
So we have a list of all these movies in front of us. Real quick, before
It's a lot of movies, man.
before we do the coin toss, I just want to ask you. There is one movie on this list. Again, this spans 10 years. It's 15 weeks that we're doing here, right? We're going to end the show with 18 movies each, respectively. There is one movie that I think is the most obvious first overall pick for this draft.
Okay.
Do you have one in mind? Like, do you have an obvious first round pick? Like, you know you want it, but you also know I'm thinking of it.
I have a strategy to where if it's the movie that you're thinking of, I am probably also thinking of it, but it is paired with another movie to where it's going to be a difficult decision, even though it shouldn't look like a difficult decision. That's the movie I'm thinking of. I don't know if that's the one you're thinking of.
You threw me off with that. I think you and I are about to do the same thing. It just depends on who does it first. And we'll talk about strategy, like I said, as we go. There's going to be a lot of thinking out loud, troubleshooting. All right, without further ado, this is a Pennsylvania quarter, just so everybody knows I'm not playing any games. Heads and tails, okay? All right, I'm terrible at coin tosses, but here we go. Oh, shit. All right, either way, I haven't looked at it. I'll just flip it over, okay? It is... We didn't even pick. Start over.
I was going to say, I was like, I know Ryan's thinking something here, but he hasn't said it.
Oh, shit. God damn, I'm stupid. All right. All right. Austin Burke, call it in the air, even though there's a second.
Right.
Because there's a delay, I'll let it fall to the floor, and then I'll pick it up and do the thing, okay?
Okay, here we go.
All right. Call it.
Tails never fails my ass. I want heads. Oh, boy. I'm so nervous.
That was stupid. Look, I'm going to do it again. I suck. All right. Do it one more time, even though you're just going to say tails. Okay?
Yep.
Heads.
It's heads.
All right.
It's heads.
I'm picking
It's
first.
heads.
I'm picking
It's
first.
heads.
And I am picking what I think is the most obvious first pick
All right.
ever.
Yep.
All right. We're both looking at the doc, right?
I think so.
I don't see what week it's at, but I'll find it. The number one overall pick for me is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, that's your pick. Wow. That is not where I thought you'd go.
Really? Why?
No.
Bro, I just thought it checked so many boxes.
It does. Yeah, it checks a lot of boxes.
So
It checks a lot of boxes.
I got my December tentpole. I got my animated already. It's like maybe the best superhero movie ever.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
you really weren't thinking that though, were you?
No, I thought you were going to go a different direction, which actually would have benefited me a lot more. So I'm kind of upset you didn't do that. So now I'm actually going to pivot. I'm not going to go with. I'm not going to choose the movie I was going to choose for my first pick.
Okay.
But continue. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's it, man. I just, as soon as I saw that, sorry, I'm writing it down. That's my week 2 December. I crossed animated December. I don't know. I just thought, why not start off, check as many boxes as I can, and that allows me to free up everything else that I'm doing. And anyway, so I just thought that was obvious. We can talk more about that as we go. I don't know if I have to. I don't know if I have to clarify, but I am not at this time adding a streaming kicker. But that is my first overall pick.
It's a good pick, man.
Phew. Damn,
man, that's a really good pick. That's good. You've caused me to pivot. My plan that was in effect has to go on the back burner now, and I'm just going to wait until you choose whichever movie that month.
Well, when I asked you, and you replied talking about it being coupled with another movie or whatever, I was like,
yeah.
What he just said doesn't make sense if he's like talking about Spider-Verse versus like No Way Home. I was like, is that where he's going? I don't really know what he's saying. So I thought you were alluding to like, well, if one of us gets Spider-Verse, we can just get No Way Home. And I was just like, okay, but sure. So that was that. How fun.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick, man. You knocked a lot out. I'm going to have to rethink my animated movie now.
Do you need a few more minutes? Do you have a particular week that you're looking at that you want to get to before me?
Yeah, I do. And I think I have a choice that will check off a box, although this box is very easily check-offable. It's the Oscar movie box, being it was a film that was nominated for multiple categories.
Okay.
But it is also in the midst of a week that still includes a couple of really good movies, but I just think this is far and away the best film, so I want to steal it from you.
All right.
And this is the first week of October. It is a sequel. It is a movie we talk about often on this channel. It is Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
I want to take that from you because while there are some other good movies that week, I believe this is far and away the best. I believe it is one of the greatest sci-fi movies of that decade. And I think it is one of Denis' best films of all time. I also think it is ridiculously better than the first movie. Yeah. Some of the other movies I was considering are paired with also great movies, so I'm just going to wait and see what happens.
That's what's fun about October especially, is that like some of my favorite movies of all time came out in the last decade in October. So yeah. I wasn't as afraid. I know you wanted me to be shaking in my boots because he chose, hey, but I'm not. But you got a great pick there. And yeah, depending on how this shook out, I probably would have grabbed it too at some point. So I'll be honest, I totally forgot that's not an Oscar nominee to clarify, because we didn't clarify. We're looking at Best Picture nominees.
You're right, it wasn't Best Picture nominee, but it is a franchise film, so I can knock that out right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
I was just thinking that. Yep.
That works. Yeah. And it's a bold strategy. You know, I thought about just kind of starting with the first week of October, but you didn't. So already our approaches are very different. So just to give you some insight even further, my next move, if I got Spider-Verse, was to find the week of this entire thing that had the least amount of releases. Because if you got to it first, I was in trouble, and I was going to pick a whole bunch of movies that I just didn't want at all. So that takes us to the 5th week of November, where we had only sort of come up with 5 interesting movies, notable movies. Mm-hmm. So in the 5th week of November, I am going to take Knives Out.
That's fine.
Thank God.
Yeah. That's fine with me.
Oh, really?
There's some other movies I really like on that list. No, I know. I like some movies on this list.
I think you were looking at Waves, and you were definitely going to want to pick The Irishman before I ever wanted to pick The Irishman. So Yeah, at first I was like, well, maybe Austin will skip right over Knives Out and get Waves, but I didn't want to take that chance. So I'm still glad that I got to it. Knives Out, not a family movie, correct? It's about a family, but
I would say not. I would say not a family movie about a family. Yes.
yeah, it would. It'd be really funny if I went ahead and took a streaming kicker and used. You know what? Give me a second.
All right.
I actually might.
That's fine, because that's not the streaming movie I was looking at anyway of that month.
I'm looking really quick. I might have. No, never mind. I know what you're doing now.
I don't think I should have said that.
Yeah, you should have said it, or you shouldn't have said it.
Maybe I purposefully said it though.
That's true, and I still might get it. I guess it just depends on if you're looking at the second week of November for your next pick. We decided that we can add streaming kickers at the end of the game. Did we do that?
Yes, we can. We can.
Okay. I've got another. I think I've got a bigger move to pull somewhere else. So I'm going to opt out of November's kicker for now.
That's fine. Yeah. Okay. This is tough. Yeah, I'm let's see. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. So let's I need to take one last look here. But do I want to do that? Man, this is tough. I'm going to do it. Okay. So you have went straight to the 5th week of a month, which is admittedly a very tough thing to do. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to take a similar approach here, even though it is going to be a little tougher for me to fill a different October category now because I'm left with fewer choices. But I do want to take this movie because I'm afraid you're going to take this movie, and it is significantly better than the other movies on the list. I'm going the 5th week of October, a movie that came out quite a while ago.
Oh, fucking
I
hell.
am going to take Nightcrawler,
yeah,
starring Jake Gyllenhaal, which does not fill a couple of boxes I need to fill, but it is, in my opinion, far and away the best movie of that week over the last 10 years. And I am going to claim one of the greatest performances of the decade and a film that should have gotten a lot more Oscar love. This should be an Oscar movie.
Yeah, I think you just did to me what I did to you, essentially. And actually, you didn't seem that perturbed by my Knives Out selection, so that actually probably hurt me more overall. To be honest. And you know what? You're right. When I was speaking to picking a movie or else being stuck, this is probably the most stuck. I do have a personal, I do have a movie in here that I remember liking when I saw it, but I'm not going to do that now because I can just sit back and relax because you're not going to pick it. Because you just picked your 5th week. So I can probably save that for dead last, to be honest, and I'll be quite all right. But we'll see how it shakes up. I don't really know. I think I'm going to go with another banger.
All right.
I sort of know what streaming kicker I want. And so it just really comes down to the movie I want to take from you. The most. So I'm just going to go on and tell you that I am in the 2nd week of October. The October streaming movie that I want more than anything, and again, I'm using the streaming kicker before I decide. I want El Camino.
Wow. Okay.
I want El Camino. That's going to be my kicker. I'm going to go on and put that in. So what really comes down to, and I wish these people could see this list, but since they can't see this list, here's what it comes down to, guys. Am I picking Parasite or am I picking Whiplash? That is That's really what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's the week I was talking about.
Okay. Did I name a movie that you were thinking about by chance?
Yes.
Or are you holding out for The Judge or Taylor Swift Eras Tour?
I was thinking The Judge, but I'll just, we'll decide when we get there.
Either way, I knock out my October kicker and I knock out my Best Picture nominee. I actually don't really think I need to spend a lot of time because either way I win, and I think you win ultimately.
I believe so as well. Yes.
If you're gonna go with, I tell you what, man. I think this is tough. I read this screenplay. I read this screenplay before the movie came out. And I think it's a movie that I've just been thinking a lot about, and it's been on my mind. I have rewatched it in the last year.
Okay.
The main actor means a lot more to me than the cast of Parasite. So I'm going to go Whiplash.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to go Whiplash
Nice.
and El Camino, even though Parasite is one of my favorite movies ever. My strategy with that kicker is to just blow the roof off the place, if you will.
Yeah.
So Whiplash and El Camino. And that will do it for my Oscar nominee.
I love it. That's actually, so I will show my cards. Whiplash is my favorite movie on this whole list. It's my favorite movie. But I was going to wait until dead last for that decision and just let you take the other one. That way I can move on to these other categories. That was my strategy.
Right.
That's the one that I think you could go first pick with, because I think either of those movies are a first pick. But to get it out of the way and focus on some of these tougher categories that way, because I mean it's a win-win. You get Whiplash, you win. You get Parasite, you win. I'd also like to add in something I didn't think about, which is fine because you've already chosen your October streamer, right?
Yeah.
I've already chosen the first week of October. I want to go ahead and knock my streaming kicker out of the way for October because I just noticed that All Quiet on the Western Front released the first week of October on Netflix. So I'm going to make that my October streaming movie, the one I've had my eye on this entire time.
Beautiful. All right.
Phenomenal.
So far, I've got my December tentpole, my animated, my Oscar nominee, and my October streamer. And you have your October streamer and your franchise.
Yes.
So, all right. Good deal, man. Do you have, it's still technically your pick, so do you want to, do you want to go somewhere else, or are you going to, I guess you have to go somewhere else because you've already got your week one.
Yeah, this is tough, man. I'm looking at some of these categories, and I really want to leave you helpless. But most of the weeks remaining, there are good movies across the board, man.
Yep.
I mean, genuinely good movies across the board. So I thought I took my Oscar movie earlier. Turns out that I didn't, so I need a replacement. My replacement, and this is actually, there's still some great movies on here, so I think you're going to have an easy time doing this. I'm going to go ahead and knock out the fourth week of December, 1917. Pair it with my All Quiet on the Western Front choice. We got two banger war movies.
Yeah.
I believe 1917 is approaching my favorite war movie of all time.
Wow.
And while there are still some great movies on that list, I would put it head and shoulders above the rest.
Wow.
And so I'm going to say that is going to be my December fourth week choice, knocking out of the way. Let's see if we can pair a streaming movie with that. I don't think there's anything I would choose, and so we're going to hold off on streaming, unless I put Maestro on there. No, I'm going to Bradley Cooper.
Oh man, that's funny. I'll tell you what, man. Look, 1917 is not a movie that I ever would have picked. I don't think there's any.
That's fair.
I don't think there's any version of this draft where I would have stuck with it. It doesn't mean I hate it or anything. I enjoy it. I've only seen it the one time. I get it. I think I remember that being like an Austin Burke thing, kind of like I remember Klaus being an Austin Burke thing.
Yeah.
So
I gotta get that out of the way, man.
But good for you, man. I mean, you get the movies you want. It doesn't always have to be about sticking it to me. So yeah, I'm gonna go with I think what is also the toughest week remaining here. Again, I still have a move with the 5th week of October, even though you did take Nightcrawler. I've got I'm not going to draw attention to that. So I'm going to go to the hardest week left. And let's go to the 5th week of December, shall we?
Okay.
So this is pretty tough. Every movie on here, I think, is high profile, memorable. Maybe the least so is Most Violent Year, which is a movie that I like. And actually, are there two Jessica Chastain movies on this list? We could have done a Most Violent Year, Molly's Game. I'm gonna pick a movie that I actually don't really love. To be honest, I just don't want to be stuck with any of the others, because this is my least seen category. So let's just I just want to name the movies here and tell you what I haven't seen. A Most Violent Year I have seen. The Hateful Eight I've seen. Fences I have not. Hidden Figures I have not. 20th Century Women I have not. All the Money in the World I have not. Molly's Game I have seen. Phantom Thread I have not. Ferrari I have not. The Color Purple, even though I love Halle Bailey, I have not. And Her is also in that movie. So the hottest movie on the list is The Color Purple, but one of the movies I've seen that I don't particularly love, and my pick for 5th week of December, is The Hateful Eight.
Okay, good choice.
So, not one of my favorites. You know, I could have maybe gone with a more uplifting film if the idea is this is a fall slate. You know, we just finished the Christmas movie or the Christmas time going into the new year. Maybe I could have gone with something a little bit more uplifting, like Hidden Figures, or I don't know if uplifting is the right word. Hidden Figures may be the only uplifting one. But I decided to go Hateful Eight because Quentin Tarantino is beloved by so many, and it's an ensemble, fun, snappy dialogue. It's a wintertime movie right in the thick of winter. It's where we cap this fall movie season. So anyway, that's my thought process, and having the Hateful Eight bookend my movie season. So there's the Hateful Eight.
That's a good choice. That's a good movie. I feel like I should be talking about the other movies on the list more when I'm making my choices. You were doing that just now, and I'm like, maybe I should be doing that.
Yeah, why not? It'll be more fun, I think, if people... I mean, we have long lists, so going through every single one might exhaust people, but just to talk about other movies...
Yeah, because it's hard to know. It's hard to know what's on here without actually seeing what's on here, which is tough. Yeah. And I also feel like my strategy, I should be knocking out more of these categories. I really should. But for this next choice, I don't want to yet. I have my eye on something that should I hold off and take this other one, or should I go? I'm thinking out loud. This is tough for me. Actually, you know what? I have two things I'm looking at here. Two things I'm looking at. Let's see.
And as you're going, we have not finished a week yet. So every movie that we've picked, we are the sole choice so far on them. So every week is still open. They have not been closed out for the other party. we're still early. So you just mentioned, being a little self-conscious of not fulfilling we're still early.
Man, this is tough. This is tough. We've got some. Boy, let's go over to hovering between these 2 weeks in November.
Oh, you're struggling with weeks in November. Okay.
I'm struggling with weeks in November because I know I got to knock some of these individual categories out.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I can hold off on this choice right here. So I'm going to go back 2 weeks. Now I'm struggling with 2 different weeks in November. And let me look over all the movies one more time, Ryan, to make sure I am not leaving anything out, because this is a big decision here. And I really just want you to eat it.
That's fine. Here. This is your first pick in November. We still need your family movie. You're still able to pick a streamer. November is my birthday month, so I have, fond memories of seeing certain movies in and around my birthday with people, and there's a lot going on. I think that maybe of all the months that we have here, we have a lot of movies that could be considered for multiple categories, right? So we have a lot of streaming movies that are like family oriented as well. I'm sorry. In the same week, there's a lot of streaming kickers for. That's what I meant to say. Sorry, a ton of streaming kickers for great choices, theatrically anyway. Sorry, I was confusing when I said that. So we also have some dog turds.
Yeah, I'm looking. I think I'm going to go with this choice. It may not be smart. I'm going to go with this choice and hope and pray you don't override my next one. But this feels like a movie in the 3rd week of November. This feels like a movie that I'm looking at these other decisions and I'm just like, I just don't like these other ones nearly as much. So I got to go ahead and steal it. Unless I'm overlooking one, and I don't think I am here. Yeah, I think this is just like... This is the one I got to go with. So I'm going to go 3rd week of November.
You going Lady and the Tramp?
I'm going Lady and the Tramp. No, I am going Ford v. Ferrari.
Yeah.
In the 3rd week of November. Some other great movies on there. Some movies that, like Nope, Jordan Peele. I like The Menu quite a bit. I know that was more of a divisive one. You've got Best Picture winner Green Book on there. I know that wouldn't ruffle any feathers if I took that one.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to go ahead and I'm going to hit a different category of the fandom here. I'm going to hit a different category of the fandom.
Are you picking your November streaming kicker here?
I'm going to pick my November streaming kicker.
Okay.
The movie that came to mind originally was Klaus. That's the one I wanted to take.
Okay.
I think that's a smaller fan base than the movie that I'm going to take. And the movie I'm going to take is Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Jesus Christ.
Because there are some massive fans of that movie that are going to be voting for this list. And I want them on my side, baby. So let's go. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Let's go. Y'all on my side today,
That's
baby.
Crazy.
I'm the only one with that movie on my list. Let's go.
Yeah, that's look, that's part of the strategy, right? You can play to the audience. Do you feel like we have a big Snyder Cut fan base listening to Movie Mode?
Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah, I guess we are. It's a bold strategy. Yeah, let's go. Honestly, this week, let's go through these for a second. On the 3rd week of November, this is everything you've left me. We've got 3 Hunger Games entries. Mockingjay Part 1, 2, and 3.
Nice.
I will not be picking any of those. We got a couple of animated movies, Trolls Band Together, Klaus. Haven't seen either one of them. Okay. I'll be honest. I think that I probably would have picked Nope, if I needed a horror movie in November, but that's not the name of the game. But I think I have one of my all-time favorites, or at least my all-time rewatched films in this category, and I'm not going to spoil what it is yet.
Oh.
I
that
wish. Do what now? Yeah.
In that week? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I like it.
If I picked it, everybody would just kind of be like, "Okay, cool." It's not like my Snyder cut move in that it's going to play to the audience, but it would be very me.
Sure.
I wish The Night Before came out in. I wish it would count as a family movie. But if it was a family movie, I probably would have picked The Night Before for maybe being the best holiday movie on this list. So it does depend on the family, but I'm not going to act like that's a big family hit. So I think that's again, I get to relax and sit back and come back to that week again. Probably wait till the end, but all right. Here's the deal. The 4th week of October.
Okay.
Is slim pickings. Now, I'm going to take a movie that this is tough. All right, I'll quit dancing around. There are 2 movies, and it's similar to like Whiplash, Parasite. Okay.
Yeah.
John Wick.
Okay.
Or Dune.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't need a Best Picture nominee. And neither do you. We both love Dune. And the reason why I said it's like Whiplash, Parasite, both Dune and Parasite are more recent. John Wick and Whiplash had their 10-year anniversaries, or John Wick is about to have their 10-year, or maybe I guess it already did. Maybe it's one of those things that was released and I actually have it in the wrong week, even though it was. I don't know. I think it's right though. And just for the sake of being different, instead of going with the movie that had its 10-year anniversary, I'm gonna go with the one that I think will hurt you more, and that my 4th week of October pick is Denis Villeneuve's Dune.
All right. That's fair.
And I will not be including a November kicker because there is not one eligible for that particular week. So it will have to wait.
I have a question, and it's actually unrelated to what you just said, but it is related to that month. And I want to ask it knowing that you would never in a million years pick this movie anyway. Do we consider The Lighthouse a horror movie?
I've had nightmares about it.
I'm trying to decide if choosing that would make it my October horror movie.
Here's how we're going to solve these. Because there are a few movies like this that are like, is this a horror movie? Is this? Let's just look it up. If I answer this question, and I'm just literally going to Google The Lighthouse. I'm not going to Google if Reddit thinks it's what genre it is, right? So I'm looking up The Lighthouse cast. Oh, it's okay. Look, it says horror fantasy.
Okay.
And that is not, that's the entry as soon as you type in The Lighthouse and it says the search result, not any of the links, not any of the little blurb is R 2019 horror fantasy. So it would be hard to argue. Do I think it's fantasy? I do not. But at the same time, do I give a flying fuck if you take this movie off this list? No. If you want The Lighthouse, Austin, take it The Lighthouse.
Not this time. Not this time.
Okay. I mean,
I
don't need to
I
spend
wanted
any
to
time.
know. I wanted to know for my next couple of choices if I need to focus on a horror movie or if I can relax and just wait on The Lighthouse, because I know you are not taking The Lighthouse. But it sounds like I can relax. Okay, cool. I have my choice.
All right. What week?
the second week in November.
All right.
We're going Denis, baby, all day long. And, I'm bummed that you took Dune from me. I am. But I've already got 2 Denis movies on this list now because I'm adding Arrival to pair with Blade Runner 2049. And I've got that 1-2 Denis combo in a week that over the last several years has been a great week. Let's see. We've got Dumb and Dumber 2 now. Arrival, The 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. We've got Dr. Sleep, which is a great film. Belfast. What I thought I saw. Yeah, Spotlight is on there. So a lot of really good movies. But if we're talking my favorite movies of all time, which I've already got a couple of those on my list, I got to add another one. I got to say Denis' Arrival, one of the greatest sci-fi movies of all time.
I'm good with it, man.
Okay.
Are you regretting not taking the streaming kicker for this second week because you are missing out on David Fincher's The Killer? You chose Zack Snyder's Justice League over The Killer, and that is the kicker I was looking for.
I did. Yeah, you're right. I did, but I'm content. I think I've got a lot of Oscar big name director movies down the pipeline, so I think I'm going to knock out a couple of audiences here.
Okay. Well, I am sitting pretty because that is what I'm going to take now that you are off the board for the second week of November. I just got to figure out what theatrical release I want. So I guess I could say that I'm taking the kicker now, but I'm not going to because I need to remember that I need to pick week 2. So
all right.
Anyway, so I am going to, just because I'm staring at it in the face, I'm just going to stay right here on this page and choose my first week of November list.
All right.
I don't need to check any sort of box with this. I'm just going to go with a movie that doesn't fit any box whatsoever because I think we need a bit. We need some rivalry, and you picked Arrival. Yeah. You picked Arrival.
Did. I did. Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Interstellar for the first week of November. And look, I went to my mom's house and found some boxes of like keepsakes and some things that I had packed away before I moved to Arizona. So I went through some of that, and I found I think 70 millimeter frame from that movie that I've had this whole time and totally forgot about. So that was pretty fun. And we're still supposed to have a theatrical re-release this fall.
I think, yeah.
Okay.
Over the next month or something like that. They were just talking about it on Twitter.
Yeah. So that my strategy is that our listeners, our viewers they're thinking about going to see Interstellar in theaters again anyway. So I'm going to play to that a little bit. And so Interstellar is my first week of November pick. And, I could have gone with my family movie here. I could have gone with Big Hero 6. I'm choosing not to do that. And we'll see if it's a gamble or not. But Big Hero 6 was on my mind for a animated film. But let's see, what else are we missing? Room, Doctor Strange was in there. I probably never would have picked that. Hacksaw Ridge was a movie that was super affecting when I saw it in theaters. I haven't revisited it since. Don't Worry, Darling. That would have been fun to get stuck with that if I waited till the end. But what your favorite movie of like the last 10 years is in this first week of November. So I just assumed that picking Interstellar, you wouldn't miss it.
Yeah, I definitely do miss it, but like you said, there were two movies there that I was between. It was Interstellar and then my other option. But my other option also checks off a box.
You're going holdovers, are you not?
Of course. I can't spill the beans, Ryan. But if I did, then that may check off the family movie box, and I would be sitting pretty there. Plus, the other movies that I was considering checking off the family movie box are movies that I need to check off a different box, and so I was kind of pigeonholed into taking holdovers regardless. Not saying I'm going to take it, but I was kind of pigeonholed there. So.
I think you might have some issues convincing people it's a family film, the holdovers.
Really?
I think you should get the holdovers. It's there for you, but you should also think about family film. I don't know. I think you might get some backlash for that.
No, I don't think so.
If Blockbuster was still around,
sure.
If Blockbuster was still around, and you went to the family section, the holdovers would not be there, my friend.
Yeah, but if a movie rooted in and around family, which is what I think holdovers is, I wouldn't necessarily say is in the family section of Blockbuster, but I was thinking more a movie that is literally about family, for family, that all families can watch kind of thing.
Yeah.
Less the PG type of family movie, more the...
It's rated R, though.
It is, but I think it's an R-rated movie that most could watch, if that makes sense. Yeah, I feel confident doing that. Yeah.
I'm not gonna be a fan of this decision. In fact,
that's fine.
I strongly suggest thinking about getting another family movie in November. I'm
locked in, bro. I'm locked in. That's my choice. I got a plan. I'm sticking to it. I think that's a family film.
Can a family film be rated R, Austin?
That's fair, but I mean,
how do we do this if I directly contest your decision making? I'm just asking.
I think it's. I mean, obviously, yeah, it's R-rated. I mean, that's fair. I think that's very fair. But if I watch the holdovers, I'm going to watch it with my family, thinking it's a family movie. And it's also a Christmas movie, which I think kind of puts it in that category. I don't know. I didn't think this would be contested. I really didn't. It never crossed my mind that this would be contested.
Is the holdovers a family film? Is all I Googled. The AI overview popped up immediately. No, the holdovers is not a family film.
Well, just because it's rated R. I mean, the AI is not going to watch the movie and... It's not going to sit down and watch the movie and have a tear in its eye at the end and go, man, that was really sweet. I'd love to show that to my dad. Like, it's not going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, mature topics. It has great messages, role models, and educational value. It's about two unpleasant people who are forced to spend time together and slowly realize they are both damaged but salvageable. So, look, when I sat down...
And they form an unconventional family at the end.
Yeah.
They have dinner together.
You've got a controversy.
As a family.
You've got
As a family, they have dinner together. To be fair, though, I would have went Interstellar earlier because this was my plan, dude. Like, this was my plan. Like, I would have changed my strat. All right. I'm holding to my guns.
Well, it's okay because you haven't even technically told me that this is what you're picking. So we're just talking about it because I mentioned it. So we can circle back if you want.
I would if my daughter was 11 or 12, I would let her watch the holdovers.
All right.
I would.
I do. That's actually a way to speak to me because I support cool dads showing movies to their children.
Maybe I'm just using that for my argument, but I genuinely I would show her the holdovers and maybe cover her ears if there's a sex, but I don't think there is, right? I don't think there's
no
a kiss. Maybe there's a kiss.
All right, we'll circle back. So
okay,
I think the worst week of every year maybe for movies is the first week of December. Now, that's not to say that there aren't good movies on this list. And actually, I think streaming saves this first week of December. Mowgli, regardless of Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle being on here, we got Marriage Story, we got Sound of Metal, Mank, Power of the Dog, Made December, really holding down the fort here. I am thinking about my streaming December kicker now. Just to look at some of the other weeks, Bird Box, Six Underground. To be honest, I don't know why Six Underground is on the list like that I made. Like, why did I include Six Underground? No clue, but I did. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, The Interview, Maestro, Glass Onion, Don't Look Up, Bright. Why is Bright on here? Leave the World Behind. Look, Glass Onion is on here. I have Knives Out. I can only pick one streaming movie, and that is the name of the game. So I cannot pick Glass Onion. And I guess that's technically my franchise pick, and I didn't even realize it. So I am staying right here in the first week of December. I am picking for my December streamer, and then I'll tell you my theatrical. My streaming kicker is The Sound of Metal.
Good. You scared me. You made me nervous.
Because you thought I was going to take one of your movies? Is your December kicker in the first week?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So, let's talk theatrical for a minute. I don't need to fill any boxes. I've already got my Best Picture nominee, and that's the only box I could fill anyway. So it really just comes down to a movie that I love so much, with a lot of recency bias, or I could go with a movie that has aged wonderfully, that is also musical. Okay. So I'm thinking it's either going to be La La Land with The Sound of Metal, or it's going to be Godzilla -1.
My goodness gracious. My goodness gracious.
Now I'm going to be honest, all right?
The goats. God, the goats.
I wanted to share those two titles so I could hear your audible reaction and which one would hurt you more.
Yeah. All right.
I don't think I know which one would hurt you more, unfortunately. Look. This is actually a very difficult decision, and I think I win either way.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
Because The Sound of Metal is musical, I want some diversity. And I want a film that came out super recently, because I actually don't think I'm going to include another super recent film in the month of December. I saw Godzilla -1 on my birthday last year and loved it very much. I just got the 4K collector's edition box set from Japan. Actually, I think it came from Texas, but I ordered it from Japan. I'm going Godzilla -1.
Good choice.
Kicked.
Good choice.
With The Sound of Metal for the first week of December.
Nice choice. There we go.
Did that hurt you? Or are you thinking about La La Land? Or are you thinking about something else entirely?
Well, you made my decision for me. I was struggling with that one. I was struggling because both of them are top movies for me.
Yeah.
The one that I have higher is still there, technically. Okay. But, like you said, recency bias, I have Godzilla on the brain. And so that's tough. They're both great. Those are two phenomenal choices.
Yeah. Good. I feel good about it. I feel good. It was either that or Renaissance by Beyonce. But I think
you should have went Renaissance, man. Let's see. Let's make sure I need to. I think I'm sitting pretty with my strategy right now. Yeah. And I'm going to go where I'm kind of afraid to go because we got some good choices here. But I got to suck it up Okay. I got to suck it up and make a decision. And I'm going to go to the third week of December.
Ooh.
Where I can check off one of my big boxes with a big blockbuster, but I got a lot of blockbusters to choose from.
Yes.
I have Rogue One, my favorite Star Wars movie. I have my favorite modern Star Wars movie. Sorry, I have to preface that. I have Spider-Man No Way Home, a top-tier entertainment blast from the past Marvel film. And if I don't choose that here, I don't know if I'll have a Marvel movie on my list. But I don't think I'm going to choose that here. I am looking at Avatar, The Way of Water. James Cameron. A film that I believe is significantly better than the first.
Mm-hmm.
And is a massive hit. Is a massive blockbuster. Delivered on expectations. Was a top 10 movie of the year for me. And I would put it... It's tough. But I would put it above the other movies on this list. There are a couple other movies on there that I would have considered if I didn't have to knock out a blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. But I got to knock out a blockbuster. A December tentpole film. And for me, that is going to be Avatar, The Way of Water. That will be my December tentpole film.
You know, it's funny. Before you revealed that, I noticed, looking at the list, that I did not label it as a box office tentpole. It had the Best Picture nominee. That was just an oversight. So I was able to fit that in there. I mean, you had already made the selection, so I didn't need to begin with. But I'll tell you what. I'll stay right here. I'll go on. I have not picked my December tentpole yet.
All right.
Or have I? It says I have. Oh, yeah. The Spider-Verse was. I'm sorry.
Spider-Verse. Yeah.
Either way, I need my week 3 for December. So, again, the third week of December is mostly box office tentpoles. We've got Sony's Annie film that they were relying on during the Sony strike, or the Sony leaks, as we've come to know. Look, even though I'm not a Star Wars guy, I could go with Force Awakens, Rogue One, or The Last Jedi, or The Rise of Skywalker. Another Round is one of those Austin Burke movies that I could just put in for fun, even though I've already clarified I want a tentpole. But
that would hurt.
Yeah. Guys, if I don't choose a tentpole, I've already chosen a tentpole. Sorry, I keep saying that.
A tentpole.
Yeah, I forget. I keep forgetting. I can pick whatever I want here, to be honest.
But I would say this is the tentpole. That's why I went tentpole first, which I guess you've already chosen one. But I felt like if I was going to go big with this, I had to go Avatar because that's just the biggest of the big. But there's a lot of big. This seems like the week. To release tentpole movies over the last 10 years.
I'll stop vamping because I'm not making sense. The only movie I can pick to go head to head with you that I also like is Rogue One, A Star Wars Story.
Nice, good choice. That's where I would have went. That's where I would have went.
Yep.
Good choice.
So I've got 3 big movies back to back in December: Godzilla -1, Spider-Verse, Rogue One. So we're doing it big there. Yeah, but it's the only one I can confidently go head to head with Avatar with, and that actually does it. I think, is that the first week that we've knocked out between the two of us?
I think so. Yeah, that's it, right?
All right, so I'm going to go on and cross all these out in the list, and we are done with the third week of December. How about that?
Woo.
How fun. All right. You're up, sir.
Yeah, I'm up. Man, we're getting further into it, so it's getting tougher. I'm looking at the places that we haven't been yet, but I know the places where we haven't been yet are the places that I think I know what movie you're going to take regardless. And so it's starting to get to the point to where I can just start going my own thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
I think
we're sort
pretty
of
much
clearing
there,
the
right?
deck here. A lot of I think the movies that we felt imperative, the movies that we felt we had to get before the other person are mostly gone. I mean, again,
Yeah.
some of these lists are so strong that either way we're going to win. But I think I'm going to relax a little bit more and just pick some movies that speak to me, some movies that I think we should revisit, talk about, you know, just fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go 5th week, 4th week. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter the order at this point. I can just go. Well, let's go ahead and knock out. That way you can have your pick of the litter. Let's knock out the 3rd week of October. And get rid of my October horror movie. A movie that horrifies Ryan. And he absolutely despises and loathes. But I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone here because I like this movie a lot and it fills that category. I'm going to go The Lighthouse for the 3rd week of October. That's my spooky movie, Ryan. What do you think?
Well, it's fine. Is it classical horror? No.
No.
But is it as controversial as The Holdovers? No,
The Holdovers.
And honestly, you taking The Lighthouse, it's kind of a blessing because now I can just pick. I can honestly just have fun with this because I think any movie I pick that I think is somewhat good or any better than The Lighthouse will be the one that our listeners pick. So let's stay right here, shall we? So you pick The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Let's go through some of these 3rd week of October movies. The Book of Life, Fury, Birdman, Crimson Peak, Bridge of Spies, Goosebumps. I kind of forgot that those Goosebumps Jack Black movies were ever made, to be honest. Beast of No Nation could be a streaming kicker, but I've already got my October. Ouija, I Need a Horror. Halloween Kills, Moonlight is in here. The Night Comes for Us, Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Jojo Rabbit, which is a movie that I loved, but I'm kind of over what's his face right now. So
Oh yeah, Taika. Yeah.
yeah. Jojo Rabbit I think would have been a movie that I would have picked if we were doing this a couple of years ago. I'm going to go with an unsuspecting movie.
Oh.
I don't think you're not going to guess. Do you want to take a guess as to where I'm going here? I don't need a streaming kicker if that helps. And I'll give you another hint. It doesn't have a label beside it. Cuz I don't need any labels. Do you want to just take a fun little guess as to what I'm going to pick here?
Dude, this is tough, man. Jojo Rabbit, Jay and Silent Bob. Mid-90s or Only the Brave? Those are my 2 guesses.
You said it. I
Only
am
Brave?
picking Only the Brave.
Good choice. I love that. Good
This
choice.
is a film. This is a film
choice.
I visited in preparation for Top Gun Maverick. So
Yeah.
when I saw this film, I lived
Great movie.
in Arizona, outside, probably about an hour or so from where this movie takes place. I might have to clarify that, but relatively close to where this movie sort of has a hometown vibe. Where I lived in Arizona, so. It's a wonderful film. I do get in these moods where I want to see some like Americana stuff, tough guy stuff, Taylor Sheridan-esque. Like this is Kosinski doing a little bit of that, but telling a true, deeply affecting story. And Miles Teller, Josh Brolin, it doesn't get any better than that. Jennifer Connelly. And if you haven't seen this movie, it kind of went under the radar. And for a long time, I got it mixed up with like, you remember 12 Strong with like Chris Hemsworth? Like I kind of got it confused with movies like that, right? Sort of what Gerard Butler does. And it wasn't until I actually watched it when I realized this is something really special. And the end of this movie, I bawled my eyes out watching this film. It's
Phenomenal movie.
deeply affecting. And I purchased the 4K Blu-ray. It doesn't have a steelbook, but I got a 4K Blu-ray from a European country. I don't remember where it came from. It might have been like Germany or Denmark.
Yeah.
They call it No Way Out. So it says it's called No Way Out on the thing. But anyway,
Okay.
so I had to get it. I had to have it. Only the Brave. If you have not seen it, that is my rec. And that is going to finish off the third week of October for us. And yeah, that was, again, we can either play to our audience or be super Ryan Snelling about it. And I'm being Ryan Snelling about it. Only the Brave. And it's a small movie.
It's a great movie.
I've been picking blockbusters, high-profile movies. Let's go a little bit more intimate.
That was one of my favorite movies, underseen movies of that year, even before we knew anything about the director. I saw the cast. I'm like, oh, this looks interesting. But dude, I'm with you. I cried at the end of that movie, man. It was incredible. Good choice. Yeah, if I wouldn't have been dead set on The Lighthouse, I would have thought about that for sure. Absolutely. I want to go ahead and go down to the 5th week of December and just knock this out, man, because this is tough.
Yeah.
We're left with some movies here that I kind of like.
Yeah.
Some movies that I haven't seen. I haven't seen A Most Violent Year,
Okay.
and so I know that's a film. Can you choose a film? That's a film that people like. I guess you can.
You can choose any.
But I have seen 2 movies on this list that I do really like. I genuinely like in 20th Century Women and then Molly's Game.
Okay.
Molly's Game is a movie that I really responded to. And I'm curious. Let's see what... boy, this is tough. I don't know. They have almost the exact same scores. It looks like the response is almost the same, so I don't think people are going to be upset with me either way. 20th Century Women had a pretty big impact, but I feel like this list is missing, my list is missing Aaron Sorkin.
Okay.
I just feel like it needs a little bit of Aaron Sorkin in there.
Okay.
And this is a smaller movie that is based on some true happenings in the underbelly of Hollywood, and I just think Molly's Game was a really impressive movie that I thoroughly enjoyed, and so I'm going to go Molly's Game for my 5th week of December movie over a couple of other really good movies like Hidden Figures, which is a crowd pleaser, 20th Century Women. If you haven't seen Molly's Game, please go check it out. I think it was actually close to my top 10 of that year. So I'm pretty content with having it on here.
I love it. Good deal. All right, man. I don't know what to do, to be honest. I still need a horror. And I'll be honest,
Yeah.
I don't have a horror that stands out to me on this list. I don't. So what I'm going to do is go for the week that I care the least about in October and has the fewest options. And that is the 5th week of October. We were last here when you picked Nightcrawler from me, and you left me practically nothing. So I might as well pick a horror film and get it over with. And then I can do whatever I want for the rest of the month. This is a movie that I remember liking when I saw it. I haven't revisited it. I am currently reading a book by the author who wrote the book for this movie. Starring Daniel Radcliffe, I am picking Horns for the 5th week of October.
All right. That's
So-
not where I thought you'd go.
Where did you think I was going?
I thought you were going Last Night in Soho.
I haven't seen Last Night in Soho, but I know that that's a movie that people are mid on, and it's not one of Edgar Wright's best. So I didn't want to pick something that I knew people actively disliked. I'd rather pick something that people were like, or whatever about, or maybe remember liking. So, but I was not going to pick Saw, what is this? If it's just called Saw, what is that?
I
Did
don't
I
know which
accidentally
one that
misread
is.
that?
No, I think it might have been like one of the Saw sequels that was just titled Saw. You know what I mean? Like one of those. Because I don't recall. But there's been so many of them. You're probably right.
Yeah. So, a couple of other movies. Our Brand is Crisis. What was it? Sandra Bullock and Mackie, and then Burnt. Was that the Bradley Cooper movie?
Yeah.
So
put that on there.
yeah, that was an uneventful week. So Horns is the one that stood out to me. So let's go Horns,
Good choice. I like that choice.
and that'll be my October horror.
Let's see. Let's go over to. Okay, I'm gonna stay clear of November until we figure out what we're doing. Until we figure out what we're doing with holdovers, because
I was gonna say, you feeling self-conscious?
Well, no, I'll have to change my movies that I got chosen there, so we'll have to save that for last. Let's go to December.
All right.
And go ahead and get week 1, pretty packed week, out of the way. You've already made your choice there, Godzilla.
Indeed.
And that was a heck of a choice. You chose your streaming movie. You chose wrong, because the correct answer is Marriage Story.
Give me a break.
That is the correct answer. That is a near perfect example of what it's trying to do. I love that movie. Marriage Story is my streaming movie.
Okay.
And I guess I got to go La La Land. Part of me was like, man, we don't have any comedies on here. We could go The Disaster Artist just to be different. But I want to go La La Land because La La Land is a masterclass.
Yeah.
I do not have a Damien Chazelle movie on my list, frustratingly so. So I will put a Damien Chazelle movie on my list, and it will not be Babylon. It will be it will be La La Land, one of my favorite movies of all time. And so I am definitely happy to have La La Land.
I love it. Let's go to the second week of December, shall we?
Okay. Let's do it.
I am going to pick a movie that is also musical because I'm in the mood. I think that's important for December. I've got a lot of big movies here.
Wait. Didn't you already do second week of December? Spider-Verse.
Oh, yeah, I did. Whoops.
Yeah.
My bad. Well, I was going to tee up West Side Story, but maybe that'll be your pick if you want to do back-to-back musicals. That's where I was going with that.
Okay.
Anyway, let's move on. Thank you for catching that before I spoke any further.
Well, I was looking and I was like, hey, didn't he already take the best movie on this list? It was Spider-Verse. You did, you bastard.
All right, let's go because I'm sitting pretty and can pick anything from first week of October. You already got Blade Runner 2049.
Yes.
Let's talk about these for a second. So, Gone Girl just had its 10th anniversary.
That's a good one.
It's a movie I love very much. I've already got Fincher represented on my list, but more Fincher is not a bad thing at all. The Martian, I just read an Andy Weir book, Project Hail Mary, so I've been thinking a lot about that movie, thinking a lot about revisiting it. But I have a high-profile fall sci-fi film already. So to go through some of these, some of them on this list I haven't seen at all. Like I actually have not seen All Quiet on the Western Front. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen Triangle of Sadness. You already picked Western Front, didn't you? Or no, you picked. Wait, what?
I picked Western Front.
Oh, that was your streaming kicker with
my streaming
Blade Runner. Yeah. Okay, sorry, just making sure. I didn't cross it out. That's why. But I haven't seen Triangle of Sadness. I have not seen The Florida Project.
Oof.
So that kind of sucks.
Oof,
I
that's where I
think
thought you would go.
I think I gotta go with the only one that's obvious, and there's still a lot of good movies. Joker's on here, A Star Is Born is on here.
Yeah.
I have to go with Gone Girl.
Good choice.
That's gotta be it. Shout out to Carrie Coon as well. Terrific Rosamund Pike performance. A nothing Neil Patrick Harris performance. Shout out to Neil Patrick Harris for making it on the Fantasy Fall 2024 list.
It's a good choice. You got Fincher, man. You got The Killer. Got Gone Girl. I got a little Sorkin.
Do you want to know what Fincher movie would have made this list had it been eligible? It would have been Dragon Tattoo.
Oh, why wasn't it?
It came out it came out before,
2011. Yeah, 2011.
Yeah, so, but that's, because Daniel Craig's character being stuck in a house in the wintertime, it's a family film. No, I'm just kidding. So that's a movie that I cozied up with last winter, actually. So I just think of it as a fall movie. So anyway, but it's not eligible and completely pointless to bring up here. All right. I just want to mention real quick, we both still need our November family films, which you already, if you pick what you pick, honestly, it just leaves the door open for me more. It will be, and I'm missing my November streamer. You're missing your animated.
So are you saying you now want me to pick the holdovers? Because I can do it, man. Look, I was hesitant before.
I don't think you should be allowed to. So do I want you to pick it? No.
All right.
But I mean, if we want to again circle back to this later.
Okay. Yeah, we'll save. I'll save the rest of November for last because obviously I'll have to drastically adjust on the fly. Let's see. I will go back to. I want to knock December out. So I want to. Yeah. This will knock December out for me in its entirety. So I'm going to go to week 2 of December, the second week, the week you stole Spider-Verse from me, from the clutches of my... People say I'm the comic book guy. I don't even have a comic book movie on this list. What are we doing? I'm changing the way I think here. There's some good movies here. There's some really good movies. Admittedly,
what are they, Austin?
Admittedly, not as good as Spider-Man, but Exodus, Gods and Kings. That's not one. The Big Short is actually a really good movie. Nocturnal Animals was an interesting movie, not one that I would ever choose, but it was interesting. One to think about. I, Tonya is one that I'm considering heavily here. I think I, Tonya is a great film. You put 6 Underground on there. You just threw the whole thing. Threw me off.
I don't think you're picking this, but aren't you? I think we're both. But aren't you a Red Rocket guy?
I am a Red Rocket guy. I like Red Rocket. Yeah, I like that movie. The Whale is good. Brendan Fraser stands up, floats away. It was pretty good. Spoilers for The Whale. I have to go with what you were going to choose. I've got Sorkin. I've got Denis. I've got a wide array of directors here. I gotta put some Spielberg on here. We gotta have some Spielberg magic. I know I've got 2 musicals, which I don't love, but to me, and this kind of knocks out. I got a remake on this list now, which I don't think I had a remake before. And so this is a remake of a classic movie. I think it's better in every way.
Okay.
Every form and fashion. I think it's maybe the best directed movie, one of the best directed movies of that year. It's flawless from that standpoint. And I've actually watched it a couple times. I think it's really good. I even showed it to Madison, who had never seen the original. So yeah, I'm going to go West Side Story here. I think West Side Story is a fantastic movie. And I'm pretty happy. It was between that and I, Tonya, which was tough.
Okay.
But I'm going to go West Side Story. Gotta get Spielberg on the list.
All right. Cool. I still need my November streamer, and I still need my November family. So once I knock these two out, I will have completed my checklist, and then it's just fun from there. So I'm actually going to start with my streaming kicker. I've already made a couple of selections. Let's see. I've already made my second week. I've already made my 5th week and first week. So we're just down to 3rd and 4th. You mentioned Spielberg.
Yeah.
Spielberg is Ryan Snelling-esque. And I see The Fabelmans in the 4th week of November.
All right.
I'm acknowledging right here, right now, that I cannot pick that film. It sucks. The 4th week of November, the 4th week of November has the widest selection of animated family films.
Agreed.
And I have
Not where
to.
I thought you'd go, though.
Why was that?
I'm not going to say why.
Well,
That's
I
not
already
where I
know
thought
what
you'd
I'm
go.
picking, but I'll just go on and do it, and then you can tell me. So I've got to think about checking my boxes off first, or else this draft is going to get a hell of a lot harder for me. I could give Justin Theroux some love and make my family movie Lady of the Tramp, but I am going with a film that I actually haven't seen, but it's huge and a part of the culture. Like, I get it. It has a sequel coming out very soon.
Oh.
My family film in the 4th week of November is Moana.
That's tough. Yeah.
And my streaming kicker for November is not something I love in particular, but it gives the MCU some love. And I am picking the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special with Moana.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wait, so when was The Killer? Didn't you already do The Killer in November, right? When was that?
Oh, you know what? I didn't write that down. Okay. So just Moana. Sorry.
I shouldn't have said that, because then you would have replaced it with Guardians, and then it would have been a weaker list. I shouldn't have said it, but I got to hold my integrity here. Got to hold my integrity, because they would have just read it.
I appreciate
Guardians.
it. You're right. And I actually crossed that out a few minutes ago as I was looking at it. I just forgot to write it in my list. This is the first time we've done this, guys, but shout out to Austin. Moana is my family film for November. So I think that's the first time I've picked a movie that I have not seen.
Yep.
Yeah. First and only time.
It's a good choice,
Cool.
man.
All right.
It's a real good choice.
And I've concluded I have all of my boxes checked. So I'm just going to have some fun from here on out.
I want to go ahead and, since we will get to November last for me, I want to go ahead and tackle October. Weeks 2 and weeks 4, got to get it over with. So let's head into the easy choice here. I think the easiest choice of the entire tournament. The one that you left me with, Ryan. You took old Whippy.
Yeah.
Old Whippy Lashy.
Yep.
My boy, my guy. But I'm going to take maybe one of the greatest Best Picture winners of the last 30 years.
Indeed.
Nothing big. It's called Parasite.
Yeah.
It's called, I believe, didn't we both watch this movie early? Didn't we both have an early showing of it? Something like that. I remember we both saw it before a lot of people. Because I remember you and I talking about Parasite for a long, long time before it even got a wide release in the States. It was a limited type thing. That's how we saw it. But
Yeah.
this is a movie that is spectacular on every level. It is possibly the best movie on my list, even though it's not my personal favorite on my list.
Yeah.
And it is the best Picture winner of the last 20 years, probably. 10 years at least, but maybe 20. And so I'm happy to have it. I hate that I didn't get Whiplash. You know how much I love that one, but I'm more than happy to have Parasite.
Good deal. Good pick. Yeah, though when I picked Whiplash, it came down to those two, and they are both represented, so that's good.
Yeah.
I need a week 4 in December, and I need a week 2 and a week 3 in November. So I'm wondering. I don't think I'm afraid to pick one over the other. I think 4th week of December is probably the weakest, though. So I'm going to go on and take something that I like in here.
Okay.
I don't have to check any boxes, so I'm just going to go with my personal favorite film. I cannot pick a streaming film. A Glass Onion, Maestro would have been movies I would have considered. Let's Into the Woods, Unbroken, The Interviews, a streaming, Selma, The Gambler, Sing, Patriots Day, Joy, The Revenant, American Sniper, Silence.
Pretty good ones.
And then a few others that, again, I don't really know why I put them here, like Downsizing, News of the World, Babylon, Anyone But You, hello.
There you go.
This is a movie that I love very much. I saw this movie on Christmas Day in 2019, I guess, I think is the year it came out. I had just moved to Arizona, and so it was my first Christmas away from my family, and I didn't have anything going on. And hold on, wait a minute. I just thought of something.
Okay.
There is a movie on here. Hold it. There is a movie I just thought of that isn't. Give me 1 second. This is a big deal.
Okay.
This is a big deal. Have you picked your movie in this category?
I have.
All right.
You're scaring me.
Hold on a minute. Let me look up the calendar in 2019. This is big deal. This is a movie that was left off of this list. And I think I wrote it or thought of it. Let's see. 2019 Christmas. This would have been the 4th week of December.
Okay.
Okay, you picked a 1917. Are you watching me type?
I am. Yeah, I knew that's where you're going.
Guys, Uncut Gems was left off of the list.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm willing to do. It wasn't on the list. I wasn't going to pick it. I will also tell you, I will use an honor system, and I will not pick it now because you didn't get to look at it. I'm not going to take it.
It would have made my choice a lot harder, too.
So
that was my 1 and 2, I think.
Let me apologize. The best thing I can do is just continue on with my pick, okay? But I just wanted to take a second and acknowledge. I apologize, but neither of us get it, okay? Uncut Gems was left off. So anyway, the movie I'm going to pick, I saw by myself in theaters, was missing my family, and it turned out to be just a delight. I decided that I'm going to name my future daughter, if I ever have one, after the lead actress in this movie. I can't wait for the day that Ronan Snelling is born.
Jesus.
This movie is directed by the great Greta Gerwig and has an incredible ensemble. It filled with up-and-coming actors that we love very much. Florence Pugh, Shia LaBeouf, Saoirse Ronan. Shout out Bob Odenkirk. I'm going with Little Women, if it wasn't already obvious. Little Women. You know what's funny, man? If you had told Ryan 10 years ago, if you had told Ryan Snelling that he'd pick Little Women over like The Revenant or something. Anyway, just such a it feels ridiculous, but also feels so right because I genuinely love the film. So Little Women is my pick for week 4 in December.
It's a good choice.
And that's it for December for both of us.
Yeah. Knocked it out, baby.
Yeah.
I like that.
Very good.
It's a good
Sorry
choice.
about the Uncut Gems thing.
No, that's okay. It would have. I may have ultimately went 1917, but that was literally my 2 favorite movies of the year, so that would have been tough.
Yeah.
You made my job easier. I am going to go to a place that you've already went and taken Dune from me, which I'm still a little salty about. But maybe 3 Denis movies would have been one too many. And I got a lot of sci-fi movies. I got a lot of sci-fi. I don't need sci-fi. I think the obvious choice here is John Wick. Now, if I wouldn't have went The Lighthouse already, which I'm very happy with, I would have considered Bone Tomahawk here because that is a horror movie. I would have absolutely considered that.
Yep. The great Matthew Fox.
Yeah. It's a great movie. It's still tough, man. It's still tough to not go that direction just because it's such a different type of movie. But I got The Lighthouse. I got the weird stuff out of the way. Got to go John Wick, right?
Yeah.
Staple. Set the standard for what action movies are right now in the moment. Spawned a franchise and is a remarkable achievement across the board. So yeah, man, I love having John Wick on this list. It fills the action void too. I feel like I haven't had a lot of action movies, so it's nice to make it a little more well-rounded.
And that does it for October.
Yeah, baby. Get
All
out
right,
of here.
so I have to crush my week 2 and week 3 of November.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have what, week 4 and week 5 of November.
Uh-huh.
So we're both out of each other's way.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
let's see. Where do I want to go first? I guess it doesn't matter. Like I said, week 2. Let's talk about week 2 of November for a minute. Wait, I've already done week 2. What am I talking about? Oh,
No, you haven't.
I haven't?
I've done week 2. Yeah, I've done week 2 because I took a rival from you.
But I got the killer.
That was your streaming, but that means you would have had to take a...
But that means I picked us a week 2.
Yeah. Yeah,
What did I pick?
What'd you pick, man?
Well, you told me I got the killer. What did I pick?
You did. You told me you got the killer. What'd you take? I don't know. Maybe you just took the killer.
Did I do the wrong one?
Yeah, I think you might have said the killer for a different week, but the killer's that week. It's fine. You've already taken the killer. It's not a big deal.
Are you good?
Oh, yeah. Because I wasn't
right.
taking the killer anyway. I was taking Zack Snyder's Justice League,
Yeah, I guess we fucked that up. It's all right. It's the first time we've done
okay.
this. So I could pick a Marvel movie. We've got
The Marvels.
We've got the Marvels. We've got Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, a sequel that I recently learned we both love and have a fondness for. There is a very Ryan Snelling movie on this list that I jokingly said to a friend of mine that it was going to be my first overall pick of this entire draft. It would have been a ridiculous first overall pick in the draft, but I made a joke that it was going to be nonetheless. Do you just have a wild guess as to what I'm... No. Are you serious? Joking. Come on. Come on.
Let me see. Let me look through it.
Take
First
a second.
overall pick in the draft.
You'll get it. What screams Ryan Snelling? What am I about to say? Come on.
Well, I mean, my choice would be Spotlight.
It's not Spotlight. So
Really?
it is not. So again, we're out of each other's way. I'm having fun. Still nothing?
Honey Boy?
No.
No, I don't know.
I'm going Overlord, my friend.
Really?
Overlord.
Really?
Overlord.
Interesting.
Overlord
Over
balls.
Spotlight.
Yeah, I'm taking Overlord over Spotlight. Over Spotlight. All right. Look, I've got
better.
some movies like Spotlight. I'm ready to have some fun, man. I've got my Best Picture nominee. I'm not going Marvel movie either. Yeah, man. I'm being selfish.
I like Overlord. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
If Overlord came out in October, that would have been my go-to horror movie. I mean, I had my sights on it the entire time, and I was actually pretty confident that you wouldn't pick it. I mean, clearly, yeah, you were just floored. I guess the only other movie that I thought about picking over Spotlight actually was Doctor Sleep.
That's a good choice too.
So Spotlight maybe would have been my in my top 5.
All right.
But no, I'm going Overlord. That movie just kicks ass.
It's a good choice, man.
So
I like it.
And I'll be honest, Spotlight, great film. I think it's just pretty I don't know how to explain it. I don't get when I watch movies that are about investigative journalism, usually it's about something I don't know a lot about.
Uh-huh.
So I think part of what I'm looking for when I watch a movie like that is some sort of like, I want to be wondering what's around every corner. I want to feel involved, and feel like I'm unveiling and uncovering something. And because Spotlight is a story I lived through, especially because I was raised and grown Roman Catholic, I just kind of feel like I'm watching the movie where I already know about the thing.
Yeah,
which
that's fair.
Which is fine, and it doesn't mean that it's a bad movie. But I've never really had a deep attachment to Spotlight beyond it's a good movie with great performances. If I had the list of Best Picture nominees of that year, I wouldn't choose it as Best Picture. It's just a movie that I don't really think about or say much else about, other than it's a good movie. So
that's fair.
That's why I'm totally cool with just having some fun and balling out with Overlord. So
yeah, I like it. I like
Thank
it.
you.
It's kind of like my excitement over the Nightcrawler pick. It's just one of those movies that you just don't see. You don't see very often it come together and create magic like that. That's kind of what Overlord is. So it's a heck of a choice.
So look, again, if we have rival movie theaters, right, and our listeners and viewers are deciding where to go, do they go to the Ryan Snelling Theater that's showing Overlord, or do they go to Austin Burke's Theater that's showing Arrival? Oh. I don't know, but I'm in love with the people who choose Overlord. I know that.
I like it, man. I like it a lot. That's great. Well, Ryan, we gotta make some decisions here, man. We gotta make some decisions.
We've got a week 4 and a week 5.
We've hit an impasse. This is the impasse. Because I got to change my strat if I can't get past this wall. Now, you remember who revealed to you that the killer was left off this list when we could have just went Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special. We could have just listed that and everybody would have voted for it. And you remember who gave you that luxury?
Yeah.
Now, you probably would have just remembered 5 minutes into making the list. But you know what? We're not going to think about that, Ryan. We're going to think about what are we going to do? What are we doing here?
Can I ask for a second? Why do you not have a week 5, 4, and a week 1? You're missing 3, but I'm missing 1.
Let's see. Interstellar.
How did that happen?
I believe.
Did you pick something that I forgot to cross out?
Possibly. No, week 1, we're still waiting for holdovers. Let's see.
How do I have a pick that you don't?
Week 4 and 5 of November. Let's see. I haven't picked week 4. I haven't picked week 5. No, I haven't picked any of those yet.
So how am I ahead of you by one?
I don't know. But I definitely haven't picked any of those yet.
Do you want to go ahead and just pick 2 and then we'll end?
Yeah.
How did we
let's-
mess that up?
I don't know, actually. So how many do you have left?
I only have 1 left. I have my week 3.
Oh, yeah, I have 3 left.
Go ahead and pick 2. And
Okay.
the floor is yours. I'm looking at all my picks, and I've spoken to all of these.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
But I do know
Yeah,
that you still need an animated and November family, right?
And that's where we come to the decision. We need to make a decision. Because if we decide not to do the Holdovers as a family film, then I have to reevaluate and possibly leave the state.
What is so difficult about picking Encanto for you? I mean, why can't you just do that?
That might be tough. Actually, I think I can go ahead and get that 5th week out of the way, right? Because you chose Knives Out, correct?
I did.
And I can't choose The Irishman because it's streaming.
Right.
Boy, I really enjoyed Dark Waters.
You're lying.
I enjoyed. That's the Mark Ruffalo movie, right?
Yeah, but you were such a big Waves guy.
I know. I am a massive Waves fan. I'm going to go with Waves. That's my choice. But I really enjoyed Dark Waters.
Yeah.
Ryan. You know, that's a good movie.
Man, you almost shocked me there.
Yeah, Waves is my choice. Waves, man, really, really moved me. Like, really moved me. I was shooketh by the end of that movie. It's beautiful. It's A24. It's actually, surprisingly, I don't have a lot of A24 on this list. So that is weird for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. All right. Check that box, too.
There is something that I'm not picking up on. There is something in the 4th week of November that you really, really want. Because something is stopping you from picking a family film in that category. That's why you are so hell-bent on making The Holdovers your family film. Because you could pick The Holdovers either way. You need a 1st week of November, but you need a family film as well. And there's something else in week 4 that you want.
You know what else I need?
I'm gonna guess you have your sights set on Creed, is what I think.
Well, you know what else I need, though? Here's the issue. I need an animated movie.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, Encanto would take care of that for you. And then you could go Holdovers all day. But I feel like something's stopping you from doing that.
But so can my animated check off the family box? Right?
No, we decided. Yeah, I guess you're right. We said that.
So I need an animated, and I need a family.
Yeah.
So I need a family, which I was going to do Holdovers for.
That's what it is.
And I need an animated.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm reserving.
So I was misspeaking. You either have your sights set on Creed or Coco. For 4th week of November, if I know you.
You do know me.
And that's why you want Holdovers to be family. Here's what I'll say. I think you dug yourself a hole. And I think you're going to have a mutiny on online. I really do.
What if I tell you I welcome that?
That'd be speaking to my nature.
My issue is I think my list gets significantly worse if I don't if I am forced to choose a different movie in the first week of November.
I'll tell you what. I'm not going to force you to do anything. So if we can come together, The Holdovers is maybe a good family film for...
And that's what I was thinking. And that's what I was thinking.
Well, hold on. Because my whole thing was it wouldn't be in the family section of Blockbuster, right? And it's rated R. It's a family movie for when people like you and I go home for the holidays and watch a movie with our parents.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Yes.
And
my mind wasn't family genre. I mean, you could kind of apply that, but my mind wasn't like Blockbuster. My mind was, I've watched this movie with my parents. I've watched this movie with my wife and her family. I've watched this movie with my brother and his girlfriend. Like, I was like, that is, and I even said it in my review, I'm like, this is one you want to turn on the holidays when all the family comes in for Christmas. I wasn't thinking your 8-year-old can't sit there and watch it. That's not what I was thinking. Yeah. So that's just kind of where my head was at. I wasn't like, oh, your 6-year-old's not going to come and enjoy it. It was more so just thinking about the moments where they're all gathered at the table, just thinking about the moments where they come together in the diner, just thinking about like all those things. I was like, family.
Right.
That's kind of where my head was at. And that's kind of why I relied on not going Interstellar earlier than I did. Which was my fault. Well, I mean, that's my doing. I did that.
I invite you to officially choose The Holdovers as your family film. November family film.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Because I dug myself this hole. There's no denying that. I
don't know. I mean, who knows? I don't know the listenership all the way. That's just my immediate sentiment towards the decision. But
I think the impasse is going to be the rating, which again, on its surface, if you look at it, it's just like R rating. Obviously, that's not a family movie. But the fact that I've got Holdovers in my Elf, Grinch, Home Alone rotation this year, to me is like, that's what I was thinking of. That was my mindset.
Okay.
That was my mindset. We'll see what they think. We'll see what they think. And the R rating thing is fair. It's absolutely fair. That being said, the Holdovers is my choice for the whatever the hell week that is. What week is that? First week of November.
All right.
If I had my druthers, if I'm going by my all-time list, Interstellar is higher. But knowing that you would take that, Holdovers is officially one of my favorite movies ever. It's in my top 50, so I'm happy.
I'm glad.
I've seen it 5 times. The last week, right? Do you have anything else?
It's my last pick, and then you will be the final pick. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So my final pick. We're in week 3 of November. This is the week with all the Hunger Games sequels, Imitation Game, Carol, Fantastic Beasts, Green Book, Fantastic Beasts 2, Widows, Lady and the Tramp, The Menu, Nope, Trolls band together, right? I've pretty much left. The only movie left I haven't named is the one I'm picking.
Huh? Oh yeah.
It's a very Ryan Snelling pick. I love coming of age movies.
Edge of 17. I knew it, dude. I'm like, he's going 17. There all the way. Yeah. When you skipped 17. It, I was like, that's it.
Edge of 17 is my pick. It's a comfort movie. I rewatch it plenty. I wish things had worked out for Jenner. What's his name? Because I really like him in that movie. But anyway, see you later. Also in American Animals. But Haley Steinfeld is undeniable. Haley Lou Richardson. I mean, my God. What a babe.
She's a beautiful woman.
Yeah, it's a comfort movie. I rewatch it all the time. I'll just throw it on. I think it's hilarious. I think it's super heartfelt. I think it's just a really good, underrated coming-of-age film. And so Edge of 17 is what you can go see if you don't want to watch Ford v Ferrari at Austin's Theater. And that is my final pick in my fantasy draft.
Good choice.
Thank you.
I had my eye on that one for you. I'm like, that's a good, because I would have. I mean, there are maybe 2 or 3 movies I'd take above it, but Edge of 17 was very high.
My next pick, I actually didn't mention this when I just ran through them all. Manchester by the Sea.
Okay.
I would have come close to that, but I wanted, again, a Ryan Snelling feel. Let's do it. So anyway,
and you did it. I like it.
I did do it. All right, the floor is yours. You get to pick your final film in the 4th week of November. You go in. What we doing? Victor Frankenstein? No, we already know you need an animated. That joke's not even funny.
Yeah.
You have to go animated. This has to be the move for you. You have to. Yeah.
I don't have a choice. I have to be animated. So here are my options for everyone who doesn't see the document, which is literally everyone. The Penguins of Madagascar, The Good Dinosaur. You took Moana, which would have been one of my 2 choices, by the way, so you made life a little easier for me.
Hold on. Before you read, I want to make sure, because this wasn't labeled. Coco is here, and I did not have that labeled. So there you go.
Coco is on there. Frozen 2, for all those big Frozen fans. Encanto, and The Croods. Are we considering Hillbilly Elegy animated?
Yeah, that's fine.
You want to? No. Sorry, that's a Wish. Yes, Wish. I didn't mention Wish. God forbid I don't mention Wish. All right, I would have went Creed if I didn't have to choose an animated film here. That would have been my choice. But I'm actually going to go with a movie that arguably is my favorite movie of this week and is one of my favorite movies of this year. It's in my top 5 and is one of my favorite Pixar films. Coco has moved into my top Pixar films.
Wow.
It is above Monsters, Inc. It is possibly above Finding Nemo. These are movies I grew up with. These are movies I have nostalgia for. It is a phenomenal, amazing film that is full of heart. My wife plays it constantly on our Alexa, and the soundtrack is amazing, and it's great. I love Moana. That's a tough choice there to put this above Moana, but I think I have this 5 spots higher on my yearly list anyway, and it's just a triumph of an animated movie. And so Coco's my choice. It made me cry first time I watched it, so it got me very emotional.
If our listeners don't know, I'm not a big animated guy. I don't just feel the need to watch these films in theaters, especially, and then I hardly get around to them when they're streaming and I'm at home. But I have not seen either films that were selected for this week. I have not seen Moana, and I have not seen Coco. For those of you who didn't catch it, I had not labeled it as animated. So if I had, and it was more visible to me when I was skimming through, I would have picked Coco over Moana.
Okay. Wow.
So it was oversight. It was my fault because I put the list together. But it's also not something I'm sweating because, again, I haven't seen either film. I would have been playing entirely to our audience because it is my impression that Coco is a more beloved, popular film. But either way.
Moana's fantastic.
Either way, I kind of knew that you were going there. So
Moana is possibly in terms of modern non-Pixar Disney movies, Moana's probably my favorite. So you made a good choice.
Cool, man. All right, that's it.
Wow.
Did you have fun?
That was fun. That was tough. That was all the words. I don't know what we do next, but man, that was a great time. Genuinely. I don't know how it was to listen to it, but to make it was fun.
I think one thing I realized is it's more important when we're like vamping and stuff. It's important to go over some of the other movies in the list.
Agreed.
And we kind of picked that up the more we got into the podcast. But I think that's important and something that we should have done better at the top. But either way, this was fun. And so We each have 18 films. I would love to go in chronological order, and I just say mine, you say yours. You want to do it?
Yeah, let's do it. That sounds great.
And then, guys, it'll be up to you to vote. If you are a podcast listener, we're probably going to put the voting up in YouTube posts. So make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel and you see the posts. I might let Austin do some on his social media if he wants to do that too, just because it'll be seen better. But you're also busy this weekend, so we might just stick to YouTube posts. But either way, we'll figure it out. All right, like I said, chronological order. I'll name mine, you name yours. We'll go from beginning to end, and we'll get out of here. All right.
Let's do it.
All right. Starting in October, my week 1, Gone Girl.
My week 1, Blade Runner 2049.
Week 2, Whiplash.
Mine is Parasite.
Week 3, Only the Brave.
Mine is The Lighthouse.
Week 4, Dune.
John Wick.
Week 5, Horns.
Nightcrawler.
Our streaming kicker, mine is El Camino.
Mine is All Quiet on the Western Front.
To November, week 1, Interstellar.
The hotly contested The Holdovers.
Week 2, Overlord.
Mine is Arrival.
Week 3, Edge of 17.
Ford v Ferrari.
Week 4, Moana.
Coco.
Week 5, Knives Out.
Waves. That doesn't look as good compared to Knives Out, but Waves.
My November streaming kicker is The Killer.
Mine is Zack freaking Snyder's Justice League, baby. Let's go.
For the love of God. That features a Green Lantern that is not Aaron Pierre. December. I'm kicking off December with Godzilla -1.
I have La La Land.
Week 2, my overall number 1 pick, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Followed by Steven Spielberg's West Side Story.
Week 3, Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Mine is Avatar: The Way of Water.
Week 4, I've got Little Women.
1917.
Week 5, The Hateful Eight.
Mine is Molly's Game, coming in weird.
And that's how you end it. My streaming kicker for December is The Sound of Metal.
Marriage Story, baby. I'm so happy you didn't take that one.
Yeah, well, I'm glad. I'm glad you have it. What's your weirdest pick? Mine is Horns. What's yours?
I would say either Zack Snyder or that's a weird pick. Again, I think it's way better than the original. Zack Snyder, Waves, or Molly's Game. Those are all three a little off kilter for me, but still good.
All right, I will make graphics, and the voting will take place on the YouTube channel. So make sure that you are subscribed and paying attention to those posts, and we'll talk more about it on next week's episode, whatever we decide to do then. All right.
That was great, man. That was great.
You have anything to say to sign off?
No. Vote for me. We'll make school lunches great again, and
All right.
I'll give all of the students hall passes. So I'll be your class president.
Guys, we love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.